Amid Aleph. Vav Amid Aleph. We're in the middle of a sidebar suga, we'd call it. We just finished answering, just to keep things into perspective here, please. They have to eat all of it. The minimum height of a sukkah is 10 tfachim. We had a whole lengthy blot of hey discussing where do we know that from, and we learned it from the Arain. Amma v'chetzi, but only worked if the Amma is 6 tfachim. 6 tfachim and half is 3, 6 and 3 is 9, plus the tefach for the kapayres, or because it's a third of the height, the Beis Hamikdash to the Keruvim, 10 to 30, the Mishkan, 20 tfachim to 60 tfachim. Givaldik. Ask the Gemara, but Reb Yehuda holds that an Amma is 5 tfachim. 1 second. So how big is your Ara? In 5 plus a half of 5, 2.5 is 7.5. Plus 1 of the Kabayres is 8.5. So according to Reb Yehuda, if the top of your Aron is 8.5, and the top of the Kruvim is 20, what's the area that is Soichechin covered over? 11.5. Ask the Gemara, could that be that according to Reb Yehuda, the minimum height of the sukkah is 11.5? Says the Gemara, no. Rather, Reb Yehuda knew Makar. What's the Makar? Halacha leMoshe Misinai. From there, we segued into Rav Yehuda teaching us there are 3 entities of halacha that we learned from Moshe Misinai. Number 1 is shiurin, number 2 is chatzitzin, and number 3 is a mechitzin. Mechitzin is one that we're going to be dealing with, which is the din of 10 tfachim. Says the Gemara, these 3 areas, now we're going to ask on them. So we started last week asking on shiurin. What do we ask? We quoted a part, pasuk. Eretz, chita sa'ira gefen te'ena v'rimoin, eretz is shemen u'devash. What's the 7? You're saying haminim. Ask the Gemara 1 second. This is a pasuk, and from this pasuk we learn out shiurin. We learned 1 last week. Which one did we learn? We learned the chita. We learned wheat. And we said, what is the shear for wheat? That's if you enter into a house wearing your clothing. Interesting. Who wears clothing into the house? Most people leave it at the front door. Well, listen, I mean, whatever, we're not going to get involved. But you walk into your house with your clothing, how much time do you have to wait to become Tameh? The amount shear achilas pras, which is a very famous makar. We're about to have Pesach, achilas matzah. We have every Shabbos, tichalo. What's it, achilas pras? This is the makar. The makar to become Tameh in a base, minuga. Givaldik, that's chita. Now we're up to sa'ira. 4 lines down, Vav Amid Aleph. Se'oira, says the Heilige Gemara, Ditanam, we learned to the Mishnah. Etzem, a bone, kis'oira. The size of a sa'ira, the size of a barley bean. A bone that size, which is pretty small, obviously. Mitame, makes tame. Bimaga, if you touch it. Bimasa, if you lift it. But, ve'enoi mitame ba'oil. It's not Tamei oil, if you go on top of it. So number 2 in the pasuk is the sa'ira, is the amount to give off tama. Number 3, gefen. What's a share of a gefen, of a grapevine? This one's easy. Kidei revius yayin. Revius yayin. Now, where's revius yayin relevant? Well, we know for kiddush. Where's the real biblical, the daraisa din revius, of course, is le nazir. Next, teina. Figs. What do we need to know the shear of figs for? The quantity of figs. Kigragura is the size of a dried fig. Lohitzas Shabbos. That's if you carry on Shabbos. How much are you chayiv mid'arais? You have to carry the amount that is a dried fig's worth. Obviously, we point out parenthetically that, of course, it's usher to carry any little bit on Shabbos. You take one little popcorn guy, and it's usher. But the araisa, you only bring a carbon if it's the size of a dried fig. Remind. A pomegranate, what's that share for? Did tonight we learn in the Mishnah? Chol kli balabatim. Any utensil of a balabayis? Shiuran, its shear is a rimun. Its measurement is a rimun. What does that mean? So Rashi explains when it's broken, the size of a rimun. You have a big bowl. If it has a hole in the bottom the size of a rimun, a pomegranate, it's considered a broken kli. Who cares? Tum of a tire. Once a keli is broken, it's no longer tamei. That's how you make it tahar. Parenthetically, you know what else it's in the Nagea? Let's say I have to take this cup, and this cup was made out of glass or metal, and I have to put it into the mikvah. I don't have a mikvah. So you know what I could do? I could break the cup. Well, that didn't help. Now I don't have a cup. But then I could rebuild it. Something built by a Jew doesn't have to go into a mikvah. What's the size you have to rebuild? If I just take off the lid and put it back on, is that called built by a Jew? Obviously not. That's ridiculous, right? What's the size? Has to be broken a shear, officially remined. That's the shear. Now, in reality, it doesn't need a really be this remined is the size. It doesn't work anymore. You know, if you'd have a cup and you make a hole at the bottom, it's not a functioning cup anymore. That would also work. But that's, a sidebar din. That's reminding.
Crack, gigantic crack.
Yes.
Top of the cup.
In a chanami. The chayra wouldn't work for a cup, but other items would work. Has to make the item not functioning. For example, there's a big shiloh with all the coffee makers. What do you do? What do you not? Okay, many are making not to table them because electronics they're going to break. But one of the eitzas is to have a Jew rebuild it. What does he do? He opens up the inside, pulls out the electronic components. It's broken now. Stuff it back in. Why should she never do this, by the way? Because the Yid never rebuild it properly. Yeah, we all know how to do it. No big deal. You finish building it I have an extra 10 screws. Why are these here? No, extras the thing came with. Yeah, we all tell our wives the same thing. But Lamaisa, it doesn't work. But either way, that's the share of a remind. Givaldik. Next. Shir Kirimanim. Eretz Zeis Sheminu Davash. What do we learn out from there? Eretz, a land. Shekol, all Shi Oireha. All its shirim, all its measurements are Ki Zaitim. Like an aleph. Says the Gemara that this whole sentence made no sense. We just finished saying Chita is this year. Sa'ira barley is this year. Geffen is this year. Then he told me all the shiurim are zaytim are olives. Kol shiurel sal kedaitach. How could it be? Ha'ikahani damaran. What about all the ones we just said? Says Gemara, you're right. Elaima shirayv shirak is zaytim. Okay, majority are zaytim. When you have no other choice, the shir is a zayis is an olive. Devash, what's honey? Kikoiseves hagasa. Date, honey, which is a large date, which is the amount you have to eat b'yom kippurim and b'chayev, which, by the way, obviously you can't eat any little bit, but this is where it comes from. If a woman is pregnant and whatnot and she has to eat, she eats less than a shear. Where does that come from? Because as long as it's not a kikoiseves agasa, it's not an isur daraisa. We paskin, of course, every little bit is not allowed. Yeah, what's bothering you? Malilugmaf.
Yeah.
It's also true. It's the two are going to be I don't know, equatable, but comparable. Comparable. No, it is Malilugmaf. That's the Lamaisa. What we do is we fill up Malilugmaf. That's what we hold is a Kriseves Agasa. Says the Gemara. Alma. So after this whole long brisa, what do we see? Daraisa Ninu. You're telling me, Rabbi Yehuda. Shiurin are learned to lach l'maishemi Sinai. Says no, it's not. It's a din daraisa. It's a pasuk. Eretz chita saira. The pasuk says this. We already foreshadowed this last week and we pointed out. Says the Gemara. It's almost ridiculous. V'tizbra, really? Do you think what you're saying is true? Shiurin miksivi. The pasuk doesn't actually list the shiurin. It's halacha l'maishemi Sinai. Ukra. What's the pasuk? And a smach l'ba'almu. Number one. So number one, Rav Yehuda taught us is shiurin or halacha l'moshe Sinai. We have a pasuk to pin it on, a samachta, but the different shiurim is halacha l'moshe Sinai. Number two, chatzitzin, a very important halacha. Where's chatzitzin negea? Two big places in halacha. Well, actually, let's go three big places in halacha. Number one, where's chatzitzin negea? Most notably is a woman. Woman to go to the mikvah can't have a chatzitza. Number one, what's a chatzitza? Article term is an interposition. What's an interposition? No one in the world ever knows. It means something blocking between your skin and the water. Your full body has to be submerged inside the water of the mikvah. And if you wear a band-aid, for example, that's a chatzitza. Area of halacha number one. Area of halacha number two, if I have to toivel a kli, let's say it's a glass kli, I got to put in the mikvah. There's a sticker on the side. It doesn't work. Area number three. You want a woman wants to wash the tilsi dayim. Is she allowed to wear a ring? Interesting question. That's chatzitza. Area number four is tefillin. Tefillin. You want to put in your tefillin, you can't have something under your shell yad. Just parenthetically, I feel it's a shtickle mitzvah lefarsim. If a woman wants, she's allowed to wear her ring forever. Now, this is obviously depend. Every woman is different. But some women will wear it to sleep, will wear it to shower, will wear it to cook. And the only time they ever take off the ring is when? They wash the challah. Lamaisa, such a woman is allowed to wear for challah lechatchila. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's good to know. Again, many women don't like this. Many women take it off every night, and many women take it off when they shower and say there. But if a woman wears the ring always, they're allowed to wear it.
Let's say a necklace.
Oh, necklace for mikvah. Good. So, Rabbi Metelka, what was your question? Oh, man and wears rings, exact same thing. Exact same thing. So 1 second. I'm gonna get to your the one thing at a time. The necklace, first of all, Stam, just to give like you know what? Give me it's 51. We'll do a 60-second crash course, but let's just finish. We're in the middle of a Gemara. But Stam, man who wears rings, the same thing. It's the var of the chatzitza is if you're not makbid, it's not a chatzitza. Now, this wouldn't work to go to the mikvah. Go to the mikvah where machmir, we take off everything, even a loose necklace. We take off everything for the mikvah. But for netilas yadayim, lemaisa, one can be makel if it's a ring they never take off. The big shell is, what does it mean never take off? What if I take it off to cook? Then it's shver. But if someone wears it to sleep and wears it to shower and wears it to cook, and the only time they're busy taking it off is to wash their hands, lemaisa, they can leave it on. And I'll just tell you personally, this is what I told my wife to do. I don't want to be not nice. They told her, if not, you're going to lose the ring. She was wearing it forever, and the only time she's taking it off to wash your hands, I said, don't take it off to wash your hands. Leave it on. It's perfectly fine. So I'm not just saying something for others. I think this is the halach. But let's start inside, and I'll give you a few minutes of nida, maybe at 10. Let's finish the turn time in the base. Chatzitzin, ask the Gemara. You're telling me it's halach l'mayshim Sinai. What do you mean? Deraisa. It is a din de'araisa. Ninu. Techsev, says in the Torah. For the pasuk we learn out, can't be anything separating between other than amayim. So are you telling me it's Lach Moshe Sinai? Answers the Gemara. You know what Lach Sinai teaches us? Lis'ayroi, for your hair, a special halach of chatzitza for the hair. From here we're going to learn why it's so critically important. We all know a woman, it's a very big deal. She has to comb the hair. Sometimes we wonder, like, enough with the combing. Why are we making them crazy? This is why. One single solitary hair. Kishura, that has a knot in it. Why is it a chatzitza? Because if there's a hair with a knot, the water can't get inside the knot. The hair is part of the body, and the water has to touch every part of the hair. So one hair with a knot is a chatzitza. Sholosh, 3 hairs with a knot, in a chatzitza, because the water goes in. Shtayim, 2 hairs, any of that, I don't know. So says the Gemara, that's halacha l'maisha misinai. Again, a big sugya. This is why a woman combs hair. We know that when you comb your hair and you get stuck, that's a knot. It's a knot. And it kipshutai. And you pull it through, either pulls out the knot, it pulls out the hair, whatever it does, who cares? Well, the vice is no more knot afterwards. That is why, because one hair with a knot could be a problem. That's why one has to comb her hair. So carefully. Continues the Gemara. So you're telling me that's halacha l'maisha misinai. Ask the Gemara further, what do you mean? Sayer nami deraisa. That's also din deraisa. And the word es teaches me, es tafel b'sari. What is tafel? What's auxiliary to your body? Your hair. Or my niu, sayer, your hair. Answers the Gemara, you're right. Teaches us, Rav Yitzchak, very famous, Mirza Shem. We'll all learn Hilchas Nida one day when we have time. And Rav Yitzchak is the din of Chatzitzis. This is the whole sugya. Says Rav Yitzchak, Midaraisa, and this is where we're going to segue into quick, talk a little bit about Nida in a moment. Midaraisa, Devar Torah, Rubayu Makbid Love Chatzitz. Midaraisa, you know what a chatzitza is? Has to be covering the majority of the item, and you care about it. Majority. So for example, let's use this cup, because toveling a keli, by the way, is the same daraisa as a woman. Covering this cup, 51% has to be covered with something, and you care that it's there, then it's chatzitza. Obviously not such a common case. Yes? So we're going to get there in one moment. Midaraisa has to cover majority. Your sticker is coming up right now. Midaraisa could cover more than half. You don't care about it. Vigazru, and there's a gezerah derabanan. Al rubai she'enai makbid. Gezerah derabanan, if it covers majority and you don't care about it. Why? Shem rubai amakbid. There's a second gezerah, Rabbi Meitelka. This is your sticker. Val mi'utai hamakbid. So if you have a miut, a minority, a sticker, That you're makbid on, you care about it. Gezerah d'Rabbanan, you have to remove it. Now, I know you all want to ask, but you don't care about it. We'll get there in one moment. That's just read the Gemara. Asks the Gemara 1 second, if we're dealing with Gezerah d'Rabbanan, v'ligzar nami, we should also make Gezerah al mi'utai she'enai makbid. Why don't we make another gezerah? If there's a minority which I don't care about because of misham mi'utai hamakbid, bump it up one level. Inam, or else misham rubai sheina makbid. Meaning, once you have a gezerah here, why do you make the gezerah the next level? What's the obvious answer? He gufa gezerah. It itself is a gezerah. Vana nekum and igzar gezerah, and you want to make a gezerah upon a gezerah. We don't do that. Period. That's the halacha l'Moshe misinai. These final halachas, miot umakbid. We're going to come back to this in one moment. I just want to read to the 2 dots, another 3 lines. Mechitzin. What's the din of mechitza, which is the halacha l'Moshe misinai? Hadamaran. That which we said, 10 tefachim for a sukkah. So says the Gemara, going full circle. Ha nicha l'Rebbe Yehuda. Everything is good according to Rabbi Yehuda. That's how we all started. Ela l'Rebbe Meir. Ma'ika l'Meimar. According to Rabbi Meir, what does he do with this halacha l'Moshe misinai? Now, the Gemara could have just answered, he doesn't hold to the halacha l'Moshe misinai. The halacha l'Moshe misinai is our Messiah. So it could be the Gemara just said, which is our Gemara says, Rabbi Meir lo yisarva lakin. But here the Gemara is a different answer. Ki asayol chasei no halacha l'Moshe misinai comes to teach us Ligud, the halacha of good asik, imaginary walls, all these halachas we're going to learn. Lavud, 3 tefachim gets closed up. L'daif and akum. And now there's an obvious kasha. How does Rabbi Yehuda know all these things? Because he used lachem shesina for mechitzin. Good question. The Gemara doesn't get involved in that. Just for one moment, let's just go involved in chatzitza for 1 minute. I want to write my telka. Your case is a very important case. Let's say this is a cup. Let's say I have a sticker on the side of the cup. So everyone's makbid on that sticker. So you have to take it off. Now, 1 second. Really? What if you want the sticker there? Why would you want the sticker there? Good answer. Because you want it. Oh, it's a logo. It's a company. Oh, very good. It's a designer item, which happens, and you want the sticker. If you want the sticker, you're allowed to leave it. You don't have to take it off. But don't start taking it off. Because when you start taking it off, what happens? Then you care about it. Good. Now, sticker on the bottom. If you lemaisa don't care about it, you're allowed to leave it there. Now, there is always a lechatchila and tefillah to get rid of everything. But sometimes you see the mug and you look at the bottom and there's a sticker there. And you know what happens when you start taking that off? It's not happening. With the gugan and all the zach and lemaisa, it's not coming off. Then you're allowed to leave it there. Now, one more dot when it comes to chatzitzas of a woman are much more makbid on. We're makbid on even not more makbid, the same level of akbada, but even things which, meaning, I want to just point out, the reason why I'm telling you, if you want the sticker there, we're more forgiving, is usually because we're dealing with tefillah derabanan often. If it was a deraisa, like a metal item, it wouldn't be as simple. It would be more of a
More what I'm thinking.
metal kidney cup.
Glass, you're not going to keep it.
Right. No, so if you mamish want it, we are makel. The reason I'm just saying is not as simple is because when we translate this to a woman, lemaisa we're more machmir. That's just the way that it goes. Why? It's a good kasha and sugya. It's a kasha. It's shitas and many shitas. And the real answer is we will be makel for a woman. I'll give you an example in a moment, but it might not be as lechatchila. For example, nail polish is always a big shayla. Is woman allowed to wear nail polish to the mikvah? Before getting to gel nail manicure, regular nail polish. So the answer to that is, well, there's something on your fingernail, but I want it there, just like the sticker. Says a Rashba, and we paskin that midina, it's okay. But the minog is that we're machmir, and we take off everything, whether it's because it's not such a big, whatever the reason is, it's good to know, because sometimes it's mamish shverazach, I don't know, you go into a chasana, or whatever the case is. Lemaisa, I always ask a shayla, but there is a makam to be makel. Now, when it comes to the gel manicure, it's the same thing. Lechatchila, we're machmir, but there is a makam to be makel. There are some rabbanim, even nowadays, that say gel manicure is lechatchila. I don't know where they come from, but that's a different discussion. Now, when it comes to rings, that's what we spoke about. Loose items we take off. Which is the reason, of course, we all know. Why don't we just wear a bathing suit to the mikvah? Like, it's ridiculous. We know the water goes in. So the answer is that we're machmir. We take off even loose things. Now, it is funny because a man's tefillah is not even a chumrah. It's It's nothing. Okay, tefillas carry. It's a maila. It's a maila. I shouldn't say it's nothing. It's a maila. It's a derabbanan. It's not like a woman's tefillah. You're not making a bracha. Okay, that is the minhag. But it is important to know. You're in a public setting. Someone's going to a mikvah on some lake somewhere. Lamaisa, you wear a bathing suit. Don't get arrested. Don't get arrested. Okay, very good. That's the quick.